Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday, January 8th. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Going to get started with the before market close video market update and take a request. If anybody does have any requests, as always, please let me know inside of the private community. But pretty exciting update for today. We've got some massive movement here in the crypto space, tons of anticipation of spot Bitcoin ETFs getting approved. So we're starting to see prices run up as expected leading into that decision. A lot of heavyweights are predicting by Wednesday this week, but as we know, they have a deadline of January 10th. So just be prepared for all scenarios, right? They could reject it. It could be another 1 to 2 quarters before it gets approved. So just remember, if we see a rejection, it could plummet the price of Bitcoin down into, maybe $35K, $30,000, right? And then we have the Bitcoin halving coming up in sometime in April. So again, there's tons of catalysts to be looking out for. I still think that a Ripple SEC settlement is the most likely scenario, and then we could see a spot XRP ETF. We could see a spot Ethereum ETF, Solana. So the good news is just going to keep on rolling in my opinion. And then Ripple potentially IPOing in 2024. There's so much to look forward to. And like I said, even if it doesn't get approved, just prepare yourself mentally now, because if it does get rejected, price is probably going to drop down to low 30,000 in my opinion. So just be prepared for that scenario. But if it does get approved, just be prepared for more upside, but then a pretty big sell-off, because like I say, they're not going to make it easy. And why would BlackRock and all these institutions want to bid it? They're going to want to load up cheaper, right? So they're going to want to wait for a pullback. Maybe they buy some now at 47,000. Maybe they buy it at 45,000, 40,000, 35,000, right? Maybe they buy it at 50,000 or 55,000. They're okay with buying a little bit higher, but they're not going to go all in, right, at these prices. They're going to buy some now. They'll buy it in a little bit, right? And then they'll buy a little bit now, maybe a little bit higher from now, and then they'll wait, save some money in case we do dip, right? So just keep that in mind. And I'm just very concerned about this spot Bitcoin ETF. I certainly wouldn't be buying any Bitcoin, not now. The price is just way too high. Even if we go to 100 grand from here, right? That's only, 100%, a couple 100%. So if we go to 100,000, that's 100%, just a little over 100%. So again, I don't think it's worth the risk right now. So just be very, very cautious with Bitcoin. Same thing with Ethereum. Solana, I wouldn't be touching that with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, XRP definitely going to be the most reward, in my opinion, and offer the most upside in terms of a multiplier effect into this new bull market, right? But as you can see, we're hitting new monthly highs. We do have resistance here at 48,222 on Bitcoin, and then it's the all-time highs there at about 69K. We do have a 15-minute bull flag on watch as well for Bitcoin. But something to remember too is that these spot Bitcoin ETFs, when everybody and their dog can now buy it within their Fidelity account or their any major stockbroker is offering it, it's gonna probably be the top, right? It might not top at 50,000. Maybe we go to 60,000, 70,000. Maybe we hit a new all-time high. Maybe we hit 100,000, and then we crater. Because in every example or circumstance where there's ever been a Bitcoin financial product released, usually the price sells off as a result of it. And you might be thinking, well, there'll be so many people that's able to buy Bitcoin, and the institutions coming in. Well, yes, it might go to a new all-time high, right? It might go to 70K or north of 100K. But they're going to use retail investors, mom and pops, your regular Janes and Joes, and they're going to use it as exit liquidity. Once everybody can buy in an ETF, then you don't have to self-custody, you don't have to sign up for an exchange, a sketchy exchange you've never heard of. You don't have to try to figure out how to use wallets and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a sell the news, but we could see upside, like I said, maybe a new all-time high, but then I think it's going to be exit liquidity, and they're just going to use that ETF to pawn it off on retail. Will probably crash 50+%, and then the next bull market will be when the real floodgates open up and the institutions come in, because they'll know that this could be the last time that we see a major dip like that. But it's going to be interesting. So yeah, 15-minute bull flag on watch. So if we do confirm it, we need to break 47,270, we'll say 5 to confirm it, and anything over that 0.382 fib there is a potential for a 15-minute bull flag. So as long as 46,296 holds, the bull flag is still intact, and we'd be targeting about 48,900 if confirmed, if we break 47,275. And then, like I said, we have monthly resistance there at 48,000 as well. So that's 48,222. So this bull flag lines up with that resistance, and then we could be due for some monthly consolidation, but haven't consolidated since 26,000. Actually, 24,000 was the low. Or no, let me see here. Yeah, 24,915. So, we could easily pull back and just be healthy, right? We could pull back to 35K and just be looking for a monthly higher low. It'd be extremely healthy. But at this point, we do have key resistance at 48,000. Get above that, then it's all-time highs in sight. In terms of movers and shakers on the day today, we have HEX, GMX, and CEL. And on the bear list, we have ZEC, AMP, and ETH, which is the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. So SPY, daily bounce underway today in a big way. Breaking the high of Friday. And we have 477.55 coming up, which is the 52-week high. And then we have the all-time high. Actually, yeah, that was the new all-time high, but this is factoring in dividends. So if you want the actual all-time high for the S&P 500, you have to chart it with SPX because that doesn't factor in dividends. So 481.8 is the 4,818 is the high, and 4,793. So we haven't broken the high of last month on SPX this month. And then it's, like I said, just less than 1% away before we, what is it, 1/4%? No, 0.75% away. So it's looking good. We are at risk of a daily downtrend though here, with a daily lower high being the most likely scenario and then a lower low. So if we top out compared to 4,000, we'll go back to SPY because it's a little bit easier with that number. So 477.55 is the resistance. So like I said, just expecting a lower high as a result of this. And then yeah, the dividend was paid here. So that's why it's a little bit lower in terms of, and the price is different. But yeah, lower high on the daily time frame is the most likely scenario. So if we fail to get above 477.55, form a lower high and then come down and lose support here at 466.43 to lower the dump here, then daily downtrend would be confirmed with a lower high, lower low. We lost the daily uptrend here with the loss of the higher low, higher high pattern. So once we lost support there at 467.82, we lost the higher low pattern. So we're no longer in an uptrend, but right now the trend is flat. So if we fail to get above 477.55 on this daily bounce and then come down, lose that higher low there that low there at 466.43, then daily downtrend confirmed with a lower high and lower low, and then we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross and on our way to daily oversold. And then what does it mean when you confirm a downtrend on a time frame? Zoom out to the next higher level time frame and look for consolidation. So if we confirm a daily downtrend, we would be losing the low of 466.43 weekly, and then we would continue weekly consolidation. And then anything over 449.75 is just a weekly potential bull flag. And we could change the weekly trend here as a higher low and a higher high if that does occur. And the measured move, if confirmed, in order to confirm this weekly bull flag, we need to break 477.55. And then the measured move, you just take your low to the high there, move it out to 0.32 fib. And it says we're targeting about 421, as I mentioned. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. All about support and resistance. So DXY is a weekly inside bar. So just tightening up with last week's range, still in a weekly downtrend here with lower highs and lower lows, which is good and not yet weekly overbought. And then gold and silver. Gold still maintaining 2,000, but seeing a bit of weakness here today. And weekly inside bar on silver. Gold losing last week's low, so a little bit weaker than silver technically speaking. How's Tesla looking? Tesla just barely starting the daily bounce today, but we have a lack of resistance all the way up to 265.13. But again, just like SPY, could see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on our way to daily oversold. And weekly consolidation would likely be in the cards. In terms of individual names on the day today, we have NDA, OPK, and Mara leading the bull list. Not surprising to see some of the blockchain names with some more volatility today. NAK, VEGA, and Code leading the decline. SNDL, daily bounce underway today. High of the day, 168, so I'm still in that SNDL trade. I'm up 12.22% currently. And I'm going to be targeting around that 180. I'll probably exit around 180 and then look to maybe potentially buy another MJ name that hasn't run yet. But keep in mind that this is just my trade account. I have SNDL as well in my TFSA, my long-term no touch. And I'm not selling that anytime soon, but this would just be a sale. I would sell SNDL and then look to buy a name that hasn't run yet. Like I'm kind of looking at OGI as a laggard play. A lot of names are looking for monthly uptrends to confirm, and we're just breaking this two monthly inside bars bullish. So yeah, I'm almost tempted to do that right now, but I'd love to see if we can just get SNDL to pump here. And it's looking to break its monthly inside bar bullish as well. Could sell half and then buy OGI with the other half. But yeah, see how SNDL, we have our low, high, higher low, and now we're looking for the higher high. So we've already got the higher low, and we just need the higher higher to be in a monthly uptrend. But OGI, you can see here, we haven't even formed a higher low yet, right? This is low, high, we haven't consolidated yet. So we haven't formed a higher low yet. So maybe OGI could continue the monthly bounce. Maybe it runs up to around $2 and then we get the monthly higher low, or we could get the higher low now. If we lost low there at 120, the low of last month, then we would start monthly consolidation, and then that would be our higher low forming, and we would look for one compared to 97 cents. But yeah, maybe I'll just hold off a little bit longer because this is looking good. Like I said, I got a target here of this breakout of about 195, which lines up with the 0.618 fib retracement. So yeah, I think I'll hold it. I'll just hold tight for the moment. And if I miss OGI, if OGI runs simultaneously, well, so be it. BFF, another interesting one. Could be a nice laggard here. So the monthly higher low forming, we have 2 monthly inside bars in a row again. So looking very similar to OGI in terms of the monthly inside bars. But yeah, VFF could be another play here. In terms of movers and shakers on the day today in Canada, we have BZAM, IMCC, and Huge. On the bull list, we have PCLO, WIB, and Labs. CGC also up over 6% today, but just a monthly inside bar, tightening range within last month's range. MSOS, so daily inside bar, and at the low of the day today, so noticeably weaker here. USMJ at the moment, BEV, IAN, and LOWL leading the bear list. On the bulls side of things, we have TAT, RWB, and FLGC. TAT was that was an interesting one. 16 cents now, up almost 100% here in a couple weeks. EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the horizon here. Barely any daily resistance until $1.15. So I added this one as a YOLO play. Just a very small amount, but if this thing from the low there at 16 cents, this thing goes back to all-time highs. That's a 364x, so $1,000 investment into $364,000. If it was there before, it could go there. So like I said, I only put, I didn't even put $1,000 into this thing, put like a few $100s. But yeah, just imagine if it goes back to all-time highs. Could be, I definitely wouldn't be holding it that long. I'd probably sell it somewhere around $2 to $5, to be completely honest. But interesting, nice move there. All right, do we have any ticker requests? I know we had one for sure. Checking in on the community as well. Nothing really in terms of news today or to update since we started the stream. So Ryan, how you doing? We had a great weekend. I sound like a broken record, but I would love to get your thoughts on CGC. Looks like it's having a pretty good day, up over 6% currently, and at one point was close to 8%. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Happy to take a look at it in more detail. So as I mentioned, I was a little bit bearish on CGC because of the fact that we still had that weekly MACD bear cross that we needed to get out of the way. So if we take a look here now, it's pretty much crossed, right? So the black line is below the red in terms of value because it's negative. So yeah, we're seeing that bear cross here now. The stochastic's crossing bullish, which is interesting because that usually happens before we see a big move. Usually the stochastic goes, right, like in this instance here, where we had the price, so the stochastic cross first bullish, actually the MACD cross bullish, so it's not the greatest example, but generally, let's take a look at Tilray, for example. Yeah, so the stochastic cross bullish first, the slow stochastic, then we got above the 10-week moving average, then the MACD bear cross happened. Then usually you get a bear cross of the stochastic, then a loss of the 10-week moving average, then a MACD bear cross. And then again here, the stochastic cross bullish first, then the price, then the weekly MACD. So if something similar were to happen, CGC is getting its weekly MACD bear cross out of the way. Now we're starting to see the stochastic flip the other way. So now if we can get a weekly candle close over 557, that 10-week moving average, that would be super bullish. And then that would increase the odds that we would see the MACD on the weekly time frame get bullish again as well. But we still got a lot of work to do. I'd love to see a weekly candle close this week over 557. Doesn't have to happen this week. If it was next week, that, you know, as long as we get a weekly candle close over that, preferably two, right? Look what happened here. We closed above it and then got knocked right back down. So generally you want to get at least two, preferably three weekly candle closes. Here was just a complete gong show when we got above the 10-week moving average and then went up to like $1.92 pre-split, and then now post-split. This is just, you know, the exact example of how manipulated these markets are. And again, we still need a monthly uptrend. So this brutal pullback and fade of that HHS recommendation and hype is just a monthly higher low forming, right? So it's a weekly inside bar at the moment on CGC, monthly inside bar. What about the daily bounce underway? So we have a lack of resistance until 593 on the daily time frame. And we could be gearing up for a daily EMA 12 and 26 bull cross over the next few days. So it's looking interesting. But yeah, monthly time frame, all about the monthly, right? We need the low high. We're forming the higher low now, then we need the higher high. Coming off monthly oversold as well. See if there's any other news on CGC here. That's pretty much it. Let's see what else we can see. And yeah, if we can get a weekly candle close over that 50 weekly, we got a lack of resistance to the 100 at $25, but that's a long ways away at $9.91. So we definitely got some work to do. I still think we're not out of the woods yet. I think we could still see a little bit more weakness. It's still a ways away before we see a golden cross as well on the daily time frame. So I'd say it's going to be at least a few weeks, or if not a couple of months, before we see any real price appreciation and breakout for CGC. I'd love to be wrong. Obviously, you know, if we get news, that could change everything. But just, you know, bearing, you know, any as long as there's no changes or news catalysts, you know, in terms of, or like sector news or company news, then, like I said, it's probably going to be a few weeks, if not a couple months, before we bottom out here and start seeing more buying pressure. And we are a bit extended here on the hourly time frame. Not yet hourly overbought, but you can see here we had resistance at 510 and we get as high as 512. So basically a double top right now. Could be a cup and handle forming as well, right? Here's your cup, potential handle. And then you just take the measured move of that cup and handle, move it out to the neckline, and we'd be targeting about 577. And again, we do have a lack of resistance on the daily time frame as well until 593. So that's entirely possible. EMA 26 sitting there at 538. So that's our next nearby resistance, 538, and then 593. In terms of our fibs, we topped out right at the 0.32 fib level. All right, hopefully that helps. In terms of support for CGC, we have that double bottom there at 451, 452. So that is support number one, then 441, and then the all-time low there at 346. But like I said, wouldn't be surprised if we continue to either see a little bit more downside from here or just tightening ranges and sideways action for the next few weeks and couple of months until, like I said, I think into April, into 420, that's when we're going to really kick things into high gear, no pun intended, for MJ. Expecting a ruling whether or not Florida is going to have recreational MJ on the ballot by April 1st, and then lots of speculation that we could see a DEA response and approval potentially of Schedule 3 around that same time, which I think makes a lot of sense because there's going to be a 60-day period after that. and then or like a comment period, and then if it happened in April, you're looking at sometime around the summertime, right before the elections, and then they can use a few months to mass market that and say, look what we did ahead of the elections, and then get young voters, sway the young voters. Thank you, Rod. You're welcome. No problem at all. Always happy to help. All right, so the market just closed. Let's see where SPY closed. 474.54. We are at the high of the day. Yeah, in other news, I might be selling a condo that I bought like a couple months ago. There was, I went to Google today and I did condo for sale downtown Edmonton, realtor.ca. There was over 200. There was like 230 some condos in the summertime. And now there's only 141. There was like 135 active listings in like last week or something like that. Just absolutely insane how many people are looking at cheap housing now and just can't afford these ridiculous prices and interest rates. I knew the condo market was going to explode here in Calgary first and then Edmonton. And oh boy, we just bought a 2-bedroom, the only 2-bedroom on here too. If you go here and you sort by lowest price, the cheapest 2-bedroom here is $149,900. So ours, the condo that I bought with a business partner, is 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and this is only on the 6th floor. Ours is on the 15th floor with a balcony and amazing view, and this one's only 1 bath and doesn't allow pets, and it's not even downtown. So I think we could even list ours for like 150 and basically profit like 60 grand in 2 months. So this is wild what's happening right now in the condo market in Edmonton. And I've got 3 other condos other than that one, so if it continues going up, I'm okay with it. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. All right, going in it there. Hope everyone has a fantastic evening. Probably get a couple videos out, and then as always, I'll be covering extensively Tilray's earnings, and I'll be joining the live conference call tomorrow. So maybe I'll, who knows? Maybe I'll even do a live stream tomorrow while that's playing. That could be fun. Instead of recording it and then uplisting it, maybe I'll just do a live stream. And then that way we can get yeah, let's do that. I'm going to set a reminder here. Perfect. Live stream. That's going to be early at my time. It starts at 6:30 a.m. my time, so I'll have to get that set up later on tonight, and then have it all ready to go for the morning. All right. I think that's it. All right. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, it's pretty wicked. I didn't think it was going to happen that quick, but I think Edmonton and Alberta is going to pull off like a PEI where real estate's going to double in like a few years. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Some places, in Ontario, a 1-bedroom selling for like $500,000, $600,000, and it's not even downtown. It's like in Mississauga by a freeway. Why would anybody do that when you could go to Edmonton, 5% sales tax, great high-paying jobs, and you can buy a 1-bedroom condo for like 50 grand or like 80 grand. There's no shortage of it. So definitely no shortage around the 100 to 150K. But why in the world would anybody pay $600,000 for a 1-bedroom in Ontario is beyond me. I would, never in my, maybe in like 200 years from now when the purchasing power of the dollar continues to erode. But I own a rental too in Seattle. Nice. Yeah, I think Seattle should be, I'm not really too familiar with Seattle, but I think I compared it to Seattle, actually. I compared, in one of my real estate videos, I compared Toronto or the Ontario, BC, Alberta, and then I think I looked at Seattle just to kind of give a comparison. But yeah, I'm not sure what real estate is like there, if it's considered overvalued or undervalued, but interesting times ahead. All right, going in it there. Hope everyone has a fantastic evening, and we'll talk to everybody in the chat room in a little bit.